Ashe to all the primordial souls on the soul-searching hero's journey to immortality and eternity. This video is going to be on the daemon, the origin of the word demon, daemonology. We're just going to jump right into it. I'm still reading from the book Hermetic Magic by Stephen Flowers. Fantastic book. This is from the chapter Theology and Daemonology. The daemon, also later called daemon, is a being between the gods and humanity. To the ancient Greeks, daemons could be either helpful and good or maleficent and evil. The good being the agoth daemon and the evil being the kakko daemon. The former might of late be referred to as an angel, which in Greek is messenger. The gods are characterized by mind. Consistency and regularity can only be expected in nature. I want to read that one more time. The gods are characterized by mind. The gods and the goddesses are forms of our subconscious mind, personalities, traits that form from the formless quantum realm that is inside of us, the primordial essence of our soul, where we come from, dark matter, the dark energy of the black dot that is within. These gods and these goddesses can be masculine energies and forms and formulas, and goddesses can be feminine energies and forms and formulas, personality traits, cycles, habits. Philosophical Hermeticism holds that the gods are creations of the universal mind or intelligence and are in fact abstract functions or archetypes of relative being. And if you know about Carl Jung, he talks about the collective unconsciousness and individuation is basically going within in this whole hero's journey and soul searching and going within to get the philosopher's stone for alchemy and not looking exterior for the philosopher's stone and turning lead into gold. It is the actual transformation of the soul back into the primordial spirit being that it is. Also in the Kabbalion, it talks about all is mentalism. The first principle is all is mentalism, all is mind, all is mental. So when you think about these gods and these goddesses being characterizations of the mind, you can also now correlate everything that you do from the masculine and feminine aspect of how you act in your nature to being able to master yourself and your subconscious actions consciously now. Philosophical Hermeticism holds that the gods are creations of the universal mind or intelligence. Perfecting perfection. That's what this hero's journey is all about. Perfecting perfection. The soul is perfect, but we are in a journey of perfecting perfection. And are in fact abstract functions or archetypes of relative being. In reality, the various gods and goddesses of natural traditions are mere images of real archetypes, which in fact exist beyond their sensible images. The quantum realm. This is why, to the highly initiated Hermetic, there is no real difference between Thoth and Hermes, Re and Helios, or Set and Typhon. And that is why I advise to study all ancient mythology from all cultures around the world. And now looking at it from not an actual historical aspect of a god or goddess, but an aspect of psychology of the mind or the human psyche. You can relate each of the gods and goddesses from each of the cultures and be able to now correlate them into action of you proving these mental states and higher realms of consciousness through mental alchemy. But to practical-minded magicians, the images cannot be dispensed with just because they are quasi-illusions. Magicians must inspire and motivate their own psyches to effective action. In the early stages of initiation, such motivation is virtually impossible to accomplish with abstract philosophical jargon. Basically, religion. You know, the exterior need for help and guidance to realize the soul and the perfection within. The soul is stirred to action by myth and poetry, creativity, the feminine aspect. This is why the magical formulas are usually based on mythic understandings. This practical stage may not be dispensed with, and this is a great secret of postmodern Hermetic magic. I want to read this sentence one more time. Magicians must inspire and motivate their own psyches to effective action. You got to be your own guru. You got to be your own motivation and inspiration. You got to look yourself in the mirror and take accountability and be excited that you have the opportunity to keep teaching yourself and keep learning from yourself, asking questions to your higher self, and your higher self responding. And what you seek, you will find. We're on a journey of seeking the best version of ourselves. It's absolute perfection. This is from out of the Hermetic Magic chapter, Egyptians, Gods, and Goddesses. The two most important theological systems for understanding Hermetic magic are those of the Egyptians and the Greeks. As noted elsewhere in the Hermetic philosophy, focus on the principles of which the various gods and goddesses are expressions. The difference between various mythological pantheons is secondary. It is most essential to see beyond the images to the reality which lies above and within. As above, so below. As within, so without. And within, the quantum realms within. Eternity within, immortality within. The Egyptian idea of a god was itself rather abstract in some respects. The Egyptian word for god is neter. The plural form is neteru. These neteru seem to have been something akin to principal substances, melanin energies, cosmic formula substances, the quantum realm substances, particles, matter, subatomic particles. This is why they could be so easily mixed and combined in the Egyptian mind, whereas the Greek might have distinguished clearly between the god and the principle of which the god might be a manifestation or an image. That's where we get these statues in the actual physical representation or image of a god or a goddess. The Egyptian recognized no division. Most of the major divinities of the Egyptian pantheon make regular appearances in the ancient magical papyri: Thoth, Osiris, Isis, Horus, Set, Typhon, and others. Some basic understanding of who or what these gods and goddesses are and how they might function in the Hermetic magical philosophy is essential. I be moving faster. My energy be moving faster than my body can manifest when I type on my phone and when I speak sometimes. So that's why I stutter sometimes so much. And I be getting ahead of myself, and I be thinking ahead of what I'm playing out in my head what I'm about to say, and you know what I'm saying, before I even say it. Hellenic divinities. But the Egyptians' understanding of the Greek gods was also thoroughly Hermetic. They understood that the gods and goddesses were real forces. These are these latent forces that we always be talking about, these dark matter, latent forces that are in us, these latent organs, these dormant organs that once they turn on, and these kundalini forces, the Uraeus forces, these serpentine forces kick on, and these superhuman, superpower forces kick back on, the Merkaba and the Metatron's cube within will manifest, and then we will be back in eternity and immortality states of consciousness. Let me read this from the beginning again. They understood knowledge of self, understanding, knowledge, wisdom of the God within, the Neteru within, that the gods and goddesses were real forces of nature, forces of energy, yet ones whose names and shapes were only keys to the inner, transcultural, and truly objective core principles which such gods and goddesses embodied. I'm talking about embodying these energies, the becoming nature of, once again, the hero's journey. Here's another little excerpt from this theory of the demonology and theology. Although the ancient and semi-mythical Hebrew prophet Moses was supposedly a historical man, he functions in Hermetic magic as a god or as a deified magician, that is, as a daemon. We go from Demonology, page 99 out of Hermetic Magic. For the most part, the magicians would try to convince the power of a god to work for them, while the daemon would be something they would eventually try to absorb, embody, and make their own to work with at will. Abracadabra, abrahadabra. By this process, a magician could become a son of a god, which is what Jesus, the Magos, seems to have done. He and his daemon became one. The Philosopher's Stone, the great work. The magicians are united with their own personal daemons, your soul, your higher self. What they will, the daemons will, and the will of daemons can make things happen in the kingdom of eternity, the realms of the mysterious beyond and the unknown. Likewise, a daemon can also be seen as a demigod, an independent, relatively immortal and powerful entity. That's you. That's your soul. An immortal and powerful entity. And this is why they have to keep us distracted and keep us from knowing ourselves and give us religions and have us looking for an external deity and giving our energy to an external deity and being inferior instead of looking within and becoming that powerful, immortal entity. Primordial, chaotic, chthonic spirit soul. In Roman terminology, an entity similar to the daemon was the genius, a familiar spirit inherited along primordial genetics here, lines in the family or gens. Genetic lines. This is within us. This is our genetic DNA and code. This is our mission and purpose for being here in this experience. This is beyond the belief. This is what is. You either know or you don't know. This is knowledge of self. This is true wisdom from eternity and beyond. Daemons are in and of themselves neither good nor evil. They are rather like humans that way. Their characteristics are, however, much more fixed and permanent than those of humans, who tend to manifest a number of different character traits at any given moment. The magical papyri mention two major classes of daemons: the Agos daemons, good daemons, and the Kakos daemons, evil daemons. The good ones are used for beneficent purposes, while the evil ones are employed to effect maleficent ends. But more often, daemons are mentioned in a neutral sense: balance, mastery of self, as demigods worthy of respect and worship of self, admiration of self. Of course, one God form famous for the number of angels he has around him is Yahweh, the creator God of the natural world. A single entity, which also you can research the demiurge if you want to look more into the Yahweh being the creator of this physical matrix universe. I think they call it Universe A. A single entity might be called a god, an angel, or a daemon, because often from an operative, practical perspective, these terms might be seen to be equivalent. Also, one entity might in fact be all three. All three, the tree of primer, salt, sulfur, mercury, having attained godhood after first having been a daemon who attached itself to the will of another god for a time, having begun its existence as a human soul, psyche. Let me read that one more time. A single entity might be called a god, an angel, or a daemon because often from an operative, practical perspective, these terms might be seen to be equivalent. Also, one entity might in fact be all three: mind, body, spirit. Again, the tree of prima, salt, sulfur, mercury. You are the salt of the earth. Having attained godhood after first having attained godhood, the transformation of the soul back into its primordial essence, after first having been a daemon who attached itself to the will of another god for a time, having begun its existence as a human soul, psyche, the fallen angels, the Nephilim. I want to read this definition of introspection from Google. Introspection, the examination or observation of one's own mental and emotional processes. Once again, these emotional processes, these habits, these personality traits, these cycles that we go through, with different quote unquote moon phases and all of these experiences that we go through and habits that we deal with, and understanding how the unmanifest manifests in forms. Some synonyms for the word introspection are self-analysis, soul-searching, heart-searching, introversion, self-observation, self-absorption, contemplation, thoughtfulness, thought, thinking, meditation, pondering, reflection. I mean, it's just beyond beautiful. And I want to read a few definitions off of Wikipedia and Google before I end this video, just to keep going in depth on the word demon and its original origin. There's going to be probably a few videos that I can do with the demon and the daemon origin, because this can get people out of the spookism of just the terminology of these English words that they gave us and taught us. The term demon is derived from the Greek word daemon, which means a supernatural being or spirit. Everybody claims to be spiritual and a soul and all this Christ consciousness and consciousness and all this, but nobody's ever talking about the demonic aspect of the true soul, the monstrous aspect of the soul, and the true primordial essence of the origin of the soul. It's real powerful where we come from, and the dark matter, black hole, black dot that is within, that is essentially the superhuman superpower nature of ourself. I want to read this one more time. The term demon, so demon is not bad, demon is not evil, is derived from the Greek word daemon, which means a supernatural being or spirit. The 72 demons of Goetia, these 72 chakra melanin energies, dark cosmic energies that are within us, these energies that move like cymatics, that make us who we are, the sacred geometry that forms from the unmanifest, that allows us to experience and move through these realms, which means a supernatural being or spirit, truly you, your higher self. Though it has commonly been associated with an evil or malevolent spirit, the term originally meant a spiritual being that influenced a person's character. An agos daemon, and people like to deal with the zodiacs and all that. That talks about people's personality based off where you're born, off the months. This is essentially the same exact thing, and this is the human psyche and what we studied and how we mastered ourselves when we manifested into this realm as the fallen angel of Nephilim from the beginning of time, from before the beginning of time, if you understand that. An agos daemon, good spirit, for example, was benevolent in its relationship to humans. The Greek philosopher Socrates, for example, spoke of his daemon as a spirit that inspired him to seek and speak the truth. And speak the truth. And speak the truth. So why are all these spiritual coaches and teachers, nobody's talking about being a demon and demonic aspect of self? And nobody's talking about the dark side aspect of truly being. You cannot have light without darkness. You cannot be true light without going within the darkness and being a true luminescent being. The term gradually was applied to the lesser spirits of the supernatural realm, the melanin sphere, who exerted pressures on humans to perform actions that were not conducive to their well-being. The dominant interpretation has been weighted in favor of malevolence and that which forebodes evil, misfortune, and mischief. There's a reason why they teach us that the word demon is evil. They have us scared of ourselves, scared of our true self, so we don't ascend as fast as we really should be. We're trying to keep this egotistical realm. We're so attached to our ego and the physical matter of five senses and all this experience in such a mundane aspect and morals based on, European mindset, that we have no true spirituality except when it comes from the religious aspect, and that takes away from your true inner energy when we're giving our energy to an external deity or energy or energetic force. Here's some more definitions. In some books, they're termed elemental forces as external deities. The ancient Greek pronounced daemon or daemon, meaning God, godlike power, fate, originally referred to a lesser deity or guiding spirit, such as the daemons of ancient Greek religion and mythology, and of later Hellenistic religion and philosophy. The word is derived from Proto-Indo-European daemon, provider, divider of fortunes or destinies, from the root da, to divide. Daemons were possibly seen as the souls of men of the golden age, acting as tutelary deities according to the entry at Liddell and Scott. See also demonic, a religious, philosophical, literary, and philosophical concept. Tutelary deities. A tutelary is a deity or a spirit who is a guardian, patron, or protector of a particular place, geographic feature, person, lineage, nation, culture, or occupation. The etymology of tutelary, Tutelary, if I'm not even pronouncing this right, but you can look that word up, expresses the concept of safety and thus of guardianship. Your higher self, once again, people talking about these, your spirit guides and all this, those are demons. When you call on a demon, that is nothing but you calling on a higher self. So we have to get out of this spookism. Daemons are lesser divinities or spirits, often personifications of abstract concepts, beings of the same nature as both mortal and deities, similar to ghosts, chthonic heroes, chthonic spirits, primordial souls, spirit guides, forces of nature, or the deities themselves. According to Hesiod's myth, great and powerful figures were to be honored after death as a daemon. Interesting. Okay, we got a few more definitions that I'm going to pull up and read, getting into this origin of daemon. This is beautiful. We're breaking down the barriers of the self, of the ego. We're destroying the ego to become true self and true soul. Daemon, in ancient Greek belief, a divinity or supernatural being of a nature between gods and humans. Archaic spelling of demon. The ancient Greek pronounced daemon or daemon originally referred to a lesser deity or guiding spirit, such as the daemons of ancient Greek religion. And this is actually one page on Wikipedia. This is interesting. And we can see how that you have to dodge the hijack and how they have two definitions of demon on this page. The first definition is an evil supernatural spirit. An evil spirit resident in or working for hell, a devil. Come on now. A false god or idol, a satanic divinity. Now, we just read all the origin of the true essence of demon and daemon. And now the second definition on this same page is a neutral, supernatural spirit, a person's inner spirit or genius, a guiding or creative impulse, a tutelary deity or spirit intermediate between the major Olympian gods and mankind, especially a deified hero or the entity which supposedly guided Socrates, telling him what not to do. A spirit not considered to be inherently evil, a non-Christian deity or supernatural being. A hypothetical entity with special abilities postulated for the sake of a thought experiment in philosophy or physics. I mean, this is amazing. We're debunking the modern term of demon and getting back to the true essence of self and not being scared of self and taking accountability and going within. Daemon are lesser divinities or spirits, often personifications of abstract concepts, beings of the same nature as both mortals and deities, similar to ghosts. I read that earlier. What is the daemon in philosophy? The daemon stands between the divine and the human, the silver cord, your higher self, at the intersection of metaphysics and ethics. The daemon is essential to understanding how Plato conceptualizes reason, the philosopher, and philosophy itself. What is the difference between God and daemon? In all cases, the daemon is an entity attached to the individual, since his birth, which plays the intermediary between human beings and the gods. The daemon is a fragment of the greater God, which is you, placed in each human being. The human being, the human self, the lower aspect of self, the physical matter incarnation of the soul, the higher self, the daemon, the deity incarnate is you. The Christ within, the Christ nation is arising again. What is daemon in psychology? In psychology, the demonic, so being demonic and satanic, refers to a natural human impulse within everyone to affirm, assert, perpetuate, and increase the self to its complete totality, becoming whole, becoming the perfected chthonic soul, primordial, primeval, primal soul, spirit, immortal being once again. The old beings of Atlantis, the ancient beings of Lemuria, of Mu, of ancient Kemet, whatever you want to call it, and put any type of name to it, the perfected soul and spirit of man. And here, this is, I can't really flip my camera, but I wanted to show this real quick. These are the 72 demons of Goetia. I don't know if my camera is getting this, but you can also see these are the 72 seals of Solomon, the soul within. And as you can see, these are nothing but sacred geometric shapes. This is nothing but sacred geometry. So we can understand that these are powerful forces that are within, that we can master and manifest from the perfection that is within, and manifest perfection externally. Appreciate everybody's time, energy, and soul connection. Ashe to all the souls. Keep soul searching and going within to be the perfected soul that you are. Ashe.